Chapter 19, Monday, March 19th, money saved, $150.77. My list of things I owed Mom was getting pretty long, so I didn't want to use any more of her printer toner unless I really had to. Luckily, students can use the color printer in the main office at school for free. You're only supposed to print a single copy of something, but no one watches you. About a month ago, I made 100 copies of a picture instead of one copy, just by accidentally pressing a couple of zeros. So when I printed my dog walking flyers, no one noticed that I made 36 copies. It also helped that I made copies at the end of the day when everyone just wanted to go home. I think those office people got more excited about the school bell than us kids did. Armed with my pile of color flyers, I went to get my backpack out of my locker. Like always, I tried to avoid staring at those dumb Lexi tutoring signs on the wall, but I still peeked just a little. But I immediately noticed something different about them. I stopped, frozen. It was a horrifying sight, a vision I thought might creep into my brain and give me spine-chilling nightmares for weeks on end. I stared at a wall of glitter, but they weren't Lexi's tutoring signs on the wall. These were new. A dozen giant poster boards lined the hallway, each screaming the message, "Vote for Smote, Carly Smote, for student body president." I didn't have anything against Carly. I knew who she was, sort of, but I stared at the caked-on glitter, the fancy lettering, the immaculately detailed picture of a goat. "Don't be a goat, vote for Smote." That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but the goat pictures were pretty impressive. There was only one person who could have made these posters. Lexi. As I plodded down the hall, gasping, gaping at every sign, I heard voices from around the corner. I recognized the evil voice of Lexi. I stopped, listening. I wasn't eavesdropping, though. It's never okay to eavesdrop. I was spying. There's a big difference. "The signs are really good," said a boy's voice. "Thanks," answered Lexi. "They were a lot of work." "How much is she paying you?" "I shouldn't say." "I'll double it. I need signs like those." "I don't know. I promised Carly I'd help her out," said Lexi. "I'll triple the price." "You have yourself a deal." As the sounds of their footsteps faded away, I stood in my spot, fuming. Sign making. That must have been the new money-making idea Lexi mentioned at dinner. I looked down at my 36 pathetic copied paper-sized flyers. I had a little time before my first dog walking appointment, so I hurried back to the office to make more copies. Malcolm stopped over at my house in between dog walking jobs. He'd bragged at lunch about his soccer juggling, and I'd bet him $10 I could beat him blindfolded. I was a soccer star, not him, and I could use all the extra cash I could get. I was in a good mood despite the dog party debacle, because we got our Civil War test back, and I got a D, which means I didn't flunk. But after class, Mrs. Swift asked me if anything was wrong, and said I needed to bring my grades up or she would call my mom. Calling Mom would not be good. I assured my teacher everything was perfect, and I'd do better next time. And was she absolutely, unquestionably sure that Abraham Lincoln didn't live at the Gettysburg Address? She said she was absolutely sure. "Watch this fancy dribbling," I boomed to Malcolm in my backyard. I bounced the ball on my left knee, my right knee, and then hit my chin and bounced away. "Impressive," jeered Malcolm. He then kneed the ball back and forth and from one foot to the other. He juggled and juggled and juggled, up and down and over the back. "You owe me $10. I shook my head. "I said I could beat you blindfolded, but we don't have a blindfold, so I guess we'll never know." Saved by technicality. "You could close your eyes." "Not the same thing at all." Malcolm still juggled. He kicked it off his foot and then back to his knee, and then performed a nice fake wave with one foot before spinning it up with the other. I never should have taught him that move. "Show off," I spat. "I can beat you with 2 legs tied behind my back, you know," I growled, trying to act confident. But I didn't feel confident at all. "How's that even possible?" he asked. "Really, both your legs tied behind you? What would you kick with?" "Okay, well, maybe not both my legs then," I admitted. "One leg. I could beat you with one leg tied behind my back." "Still impossible. What are you going to stand on when you kick?" "Well, I can still beat you with nothing tied." I think your brain is tied, laughed Malcolm. This entire time he still juggled. The ball never hit the ground, and it was really annoying. I knew it wasn't his fault he was better than me at everything these days. Well, maybe it was his fault. He could miss a few soccer kicks at practice to make me feel better, or at least one. He didn't have to be so much of a show-off. And maybe if he helped me more, I'd have more money, and I wouldn't be almost flunking my classes. I walked over and shoved him. The ball bounced away. What'd you do that for? I shrugged. I have to go inside and get ready for my next appointment. Malcolm checked his watch. We have a minute. I'm in charge, and I say we don't. You're in charge of time? Asked Malcolm. Like Father Time? Exactly. I am the lord and master of all that is time related, and all things dog walking related too. Don't forget that. My business. You just work for me. Malcolm picked up the ball. You're getting a little bossy, he huffed as he followed me inside my house. I am the boss, I snapped. So what else would I be? I don't know. Nice? Bosses aren't nice, I retorted. Don't you watch TV? Bakery bosses, dance bosses, restaurant bosses, all mean. And that's the way things get done. I stomped upstairs to my room and Malcolm followed. I grabbed the stack of flyers from my school and shoved them at him. Now, I need you to go around town and post these signs up. After the dog party debacle, I needed more customers. I spoke in my best boss voice. And get a move on it! I'm the organizer and money guy, not the sign taper. Malcolm folded his arms and didn't reach for my flyers. You are what I say you are. I'm in charge, remember? I thrust the stack at him again, but he didn't grab it. You could at least say please. Bosses never say please or thank you. They just say do this and you're fired. I thought Malcolm knew a lot about economics, but apparently he didn't know how business worked. Or do you want to just go around showing off your soccer moves instead? I barked. What does that mean? You know, I hissed. Well, I'm not putting up your dumb signs. They are not dumb. What does this say? I demanded. I jabbed the paper with my finger. Malcolm squinted and read. I'll walk your dog and clean up too, even if he goes number 2. Pretty good, huh? That's not what I was pointing to. No, below it, I snarled. Malcolm looked more closely at my flyer. You ought to call Otto's dog walking service. Exactly. Otto. Me. Your name is not on here. I jabbed the paper harder. We talked about this. This is my business. What I say goes. Does it say, you ought to call Otto and his dumb and lame assistant Malcolm's dog walking service? No, it doesn't. I don't care. I'm still not putting up those signs. He crossed his arms. And you're dumb and lame. You're a mold-faced brain drain, I replied, crossing my arms too, only I crossed mine a little higher. You're an IQ challenge wombat. You're an empty-headed vacuum head. You're a mulch-breathing, hamster-eating, vomit-brain swimming in stink. You know the worst part of the insult? He didn't even smile when he said it. Well, so are you, I sputtered. You know what? I don't need your dumb 20%. Just forget it. I quit. Malcolm wheeled around and headed toward the door. You can't quit! You're fired! I yelled back. I'd rather keep your half of the money anyway. 20% is not half, hollered Malcolm as he reached the front door. Says you! No, says the math world! Malcolm slammed the door behind him. We needed a show-off like him. Who needed a show-off like him anyway? All I needed was a dog. I didn't want any help or even a dumb best friend. A dog was a man's best friend. When I won this challenge, I'd have my own best friend jumping and licking me. Dogs don't insult you, and they never, ever, ever quit their jobs.